Nikki Teasley, Wanna Brown, LaQuanda Barksdale. North Carolina returns a good chunk of their talent from this year's season. They're going to be one of the favorites in the ACC.
It's going to be another hotly contested championship. Duke and Clemson will have to do some reloading, but there are other teams that will be rock solid as Morris hits on the jumper.
You're going to look for Georgia Tech and Florida State to definitely improve in the middle part of the league.
Ratai feeds Courtney Walton, and she's fouled on the drive. And just a moment ago, too, Debbie, we did hear back some more information from Fran Harris on the condition of LaToya Turner. They really will not know the extent of the injury until they have a chance for a doctor to take a look a little bit closer. And hopefully she will be all right. And unfortunately, we will not see her for the rest of the afternoon. A couple of points and 5 rebounds today.
And her dad is over there who made the trip with her, who's over there checking her out. What a storied high school career LaToya Turner has had. Some say one of the best post players. She and Nina Smith battling it out for the 1 and 2 spot. And they will battle it out for 4 years in the Big Ten.
Same high school as Beth Ostendorf, who played in this game, as Tamara Stocks, who's down at Florida, played in this game a couple of years ago. And she is now heading back to the locker room for some more treatment, perhaps, or a fresh bag of ice. And the red team will inbound it. Under 15 to play now. Ratai with the steal. Feeding Walton, and a quick touch pass to Jennifer Thomas.
That's just great transition right there. Ratai, although she lost the handle, she had the right idea, trying to make the defense commit.
Kenitra Johnson in traffic. Well, it has definitely, as you mentioned, Debbie, developed into a guard-dominated game in terms of the handling the tempo and getting up and down the floor.
Well, we kind of expected that. But watch Ratai right here draw the D and dish. Great touch pass by Lawson. Again, another analytical part of the game that Lawson does very well is her passing ability. But, you know, I have a feeling that Kenitra Johnson's the kind of player that when the lights come on, you know, she just played pretty average during the course of the week. You know, nothing really stellar, but boy, she's had a terrific game today.
11 points for Kenitra. Cheryl Ford with the putback for 2. Ford from Summerfield, Louisiana, headed to La Tech next year, led her team to 37-3 record. Said she wanted to stay close to home so she could be close to her mom and so she could get some soul food when she needed it. She's only about 45 minutes down the road from Rustic.
Well, she's going to join a young front line with Ayanna Walker and Takesha Lewis, who both played in this game last year. And La Tech graduates some quickness, but they've got some coming back. So, boy, they just continue to do it down there in Ruston, don't they? Tamisha Lewis and Annie Lennox, or Betty Lennox.
They'll be right in the mix once again, along with Tennessee and Connecticut. Matasowski whistled for the travel. We've also already talked a little bit about some of the teams that really should be right in there for contention for a Final Four spot, like UCLA and Rutgers and Georgia. Watch out on the outside as they head down the backstretch for a Notre Dame and a Penn State and a Nebraska. Lawson tries to keep it for the white team.
Got to throw North Carolina and Iowa State and Wisconsin in that. You know, parity's definitely here. There's no question about it. I mean, it's not a given foregone conclusion like it has been in the last recent years as to who would win the championship.
Good hustle for the loose ball, knocked out of bounds, and the red team will get it. 13:27 to go in the second half. We are at the Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut. Beth Bowens, Debbie Antonelli, Fran Harris bringing you the action. The 1999 Phoenix WBCA High School All-America game. The 8th year that this has taken place, and it's become the premier showcase for the top high school players in the country.
You know, we talked about UCLA and the Pac-10. We got to talk about Stanford as well. They had a young team this year. Lost in the first round of the tournament.
Matasowski on the miss, and it's tied up. Held ball. Let's check in now with Fran Harris and Jen Rosati. Fran?
Thanks a lot. I'm standing with Jim Rosati, as you know, who played at the University of Connecticut, was an All-American at UConn, and who also spent 2.5 seasons with the American Basketball League. Jim, what is your role as the honorary captain for this white team?
We do pretty much about everything. Cynthia and I are here to draw attention to the game. We're here to motivate the kids, to be here for advice if they need it, and just to make sure they're having fun.
Now, what kind of person would come back for the second consecutive year for this kind of torture?
Well, someone who really enjoyed the game last year. I enjoy working with these kids. They're phenomenal talents, but they just have so much heart, and they're so competitive. They want to win so bad, so they're really fun to work with.
I know everybody was really saddened by the folding of the ABL, Jim, but I know you're one of the players who's trying to get into the WNBA. Is there any progress in terms of where you are in terms of getting in?
I wish there was, but so far, you know, mum's the word. We haven't really heard anything. We're hoping that at the end of the month is the draft, and the players just have to hope that they're one of the players that are picked. So that's what I'm waiting for.
Well, good luck to you this season, and I'm sure we'll see you back here next year. Back to you, Beth.
Thanks a lot, Fran and Jen. It'll be interesting to see what will take place with the WNBA drafts coming up. The expansion draft later this week. You've got the collegiate draft, and perhaps something to do with the ABL players that would like to move over to the WNBA.
Well, the good news for Jen Rosati is that there's quite a few teams that need a point guard. And she certainly has proven that she can play at that level. But, you know, I'll tell you the real reason why she's back here at this game is because she's 1-0 against Cynthia Cooper.
That's right.
And she's letting Coop know that. Undefeated against Coop as a coach.
Well, she's sitting pretty right now for 2-0 with her white team leading the red team.
There is no better spokesperson in the state of Connecticut than Jen Rosati to talk about the women's game.
A whistle and a foul will be charged to the white team.
Of course, we'd have to put Rebecca Lobo in that category as well.
Of course, it was another terrific NCAA tournament for the women. ESPN and ESPN2, the exclusive home for the tournament. The ratings were better than ever throughout the tournament, as well as for the championship game this year. And the WNBA will be back on ESPN this summer.
Highest ratings ever in a title game. Duke and Purdue.
So the growth continues. And these young ladies are carrying the banner into the new millennium. And this is the group that we touched upon a little earlier. 4 players from Tennessee in this game. And then the breakdown, Duke, Carolina, and Rutgers with 2 apiece.
You know, if you go by conference, you'd have 4 in the SEC, 4 in the Big East, but the ACC with 5 this year. Pac-10, Big 10, Big 12 with 2 representatives, and the Sun Belt with 1.
And there's McDivitt, one of the 4 Tennessee players. They got 2 guards here and 2 interior players here.
You know, I talked to Holly Warlick the other day about the 4 Tennessee recruits. You know, the one thing that, you know, when you talk about them as a group, she said the one thing that's consistent is they're all competitive. They all come from winning programs. They're athletic, and they can be taught the way we want to do things, and they'll be ready to play right away.
Reach-in foul on Kazmarski. Well, the other thing, too, that you've touched upon here this afternoon, Debbie, is the ability not only of those 4, but all 20 of them to have to play maybe 2 or 3 different positions on the floor.
Well, again, it's the versatility is exampled by Sabrina Scott right there. What a terrific presence to know to look towards the basket and Courtney Walton to make the cut. You know, this is a physical game right here. There you got Colorado going against Nebraska on the inside. Those 2 are going to match up quite a bit in the future in the Big 12. You know, I think it's real exciting. You watch this game, you know the product is good, you know the game is going to continue to grow because you've got 20 of the finest right here today playing in this game. As I said before, the selection committee did not have an easy job this year. Their job gets tougher and tougher, trying to narrow it down to 20.
Courtney Walton now with 18 points in the game.
Parents. East Tennessee Children's Hospital. It's about who comes first in your life.
escape the ordinary.
Enter the A&E Cast Off for Adventure Sweepstakes.
We'll fly 3 grand prize winners and their guests for a breathtaking Windjammer barefoot cruise through the Caribbean. 5 first prize winners receive a Strategy First software collection with the new game Man of War 2. 10 second prize winners get Hornblower video sets. Enter now by sending a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to this address, or enter online. Starting Sunday, April 4th, set sail with Horatio Hornblower on A&D.
NFL Draft live on ESPN and ESPN2. Join the ESPN NFL Draft team for all the picks, plus live reports from inside the war rooms. The 99 NFL Draft, the players, the teams, the future. Saturday, April 17th at noon on ESPN.
It was my 21st birthday. I had my first goal. Marco ran down the left side, crossed the ball, and it was right in front of my head. And somehow I managed to get it in the goal. It's pretty special. I'm Ben Olsen. Have you seen?
Welcome back to the high school All-America game. We're in Hartford, 73-54 for the white team right now. And Major League Baseball is back on ESPN. Sunday Night Baseball kicked off its 10th season in Monterrey, Mexico, with the Colorado Rockies and Vinny Castilla as Jim Leyland makes his Rockies managerial debut against the San Diego Padres and Tony Gwynn. That's Sunday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Goes south of the border. Under 12 to play in our game. The white team has led from the start. Nicole Kazmarski using the Jones screen. Again, good fundamentals on that play.
It's just a great use of the screen right there by Kazmarski.
Nina Smith doesn't convert, but will go to the line. And the other thing, too, that we're seeing more and more, Debbie, is as we take a look at the scoring and rebounding for the Tennessee recruits.
They're all represented by balance. Jackson and Morris on the interior, Lawson and McDivitt on the outside. You know, McDivitt's game is about distributing the basketball. She had 4 assists in the first half. I've got her for a couple more here in the second half.
Smith at the free throw line. The other thing, too, that we see nowadays with a lot of these seniors, not only do they know about these other players, but they've played with and against these other players in the AAUs for USA Basketball for the last 4 or 5 seasons. So are a little bit more familiar with one another in this game than they were, say, back in '92.
You know, it's interesting to talk to some of the players. You know, it's all about making a decision regarding academics and personnel on the team and coaching staff. But when you really get down to it and talk to them, a lot of them made a decision based on not just playing time, but playing time as a freshman, but playing time down the road, how they see themselves fitting. They ask questions of coaches now, like, who else are you recruiting and who else are you going to bring in after me? I mean, all those factor in because kids want to play at the next level.
Working inside, Jones blocked by Nina Smith. The quick outlet to Lawson with the nice catch and the feed to Jennifer Thomas. Can't convert it. And Metasovsky was out of bounds when she tried to come back in. Let's check in again with Fran Harris. Fran?
Thanks a lot. I'm standing here with the very shy Cheryl Ford, who is the daughter of the Utah Jazz's Karl Malone. And just like your father, you're headed to Louisiana Tech. Did that have any bearing on your decision?
No, ma'am.
No, you just decided you wanted to be a Bulldog?
Yes, ma'am, because it's close to home, and I like the coaching staff, and they got a great team.
All right, now you're a little disappointed in your play so far, but I saw you get a couple of good rebounds. What specifically aren't you very pleased with at this point in the game?
Nothing. I'm not pleased with anything I've done, because I know I can play better than what I'm doing.
All right, then. Good luck in the rest of the game. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Fran and Cheryl.
Well, you know, going to practice every day against Takesha Lewis and Ayanna Walker and Betty Lennox and those types at Louisiana Tech. Cheryl Ford will get her game in gear very quickly.
Yes, she will. Some wholesale substitutions coming on. Of course, one of the big news stories out of Ruston in the last 24 hours, Leon Barmore will have to be looking for 1, perhaps 2 new assistant coaches as Christy Sims-Curry has been named the new head coach at Purdue to replace Carolyn Peck, who's on to the WNBA.
Congratulations to Christy and Purdue for making a decision. Christy just finished her 3rd year at La Tech as an assistant. 32 years old, signs a 5-year contract. That's not bad, huh? We talk about contracts in the women's game a lot. We've seen a lot of young coaches get head coaching jobs this year. 32 years old. Congratulations to everybody in that situation.
And that program, boy, what a solid base they have there with the people in place and the fans in West Lafayette. Unfortunately, they are losing two of their best, in Stephanie White-McCarty and Yukari Figs.
Well, we knew Stephanie White-McCarty was a terrific player, but how much did Yukari Figs' stock rise with her performance in the Final Four? MVP of the Final Four, and what a terrific year the two of them had in the backcourt.
Lawson with a sweet take to the basket, and now the steal. Walton has Lawson with her. Right-handed lay-in is good. Boy, Walton's been doing it all day on the offensive end and on the defensive end as well. Turnover will give it back to the white squad. They just have not allowed the red team to get back in it.
Well, Courtney Walton is fantastic. What a great dish, and terrific 2-on-1 break. Excellent execution. It's all those WBCA camps they go to in the summer and all those Nike camps they go to. They learn that kind of basketball.
Well, we don't want to jinx her with so much time left, but Walton is perfect on the day. 5 for 5 from the floor, 2 for 2 from three-point land, and 6 for 6 from the foul line as Horton hits for 3.
That's why Rutgers basketball in Piscataway, New Jersey is so much fun to be a part of. And you've got Courtney Walton and Mari Horton coming to the mix next year.
Horton can't finish. And Lawson almost picked up another assist.
Carol Lawson showing that she's got a complete game. Great block on the backside of Johnson, and she blocks it enough to keep possession and start the break the other way. You know, Lawson, Carol Lawson bench presses 225 pounds. A freshman. She started to hit the weights really hard after her freshman year in high school, and her father, Bill, is a former consultant to the President's Council on Physical Education. She's made a major commitment.
He's also a former Marine, so Bill makes sure she gets the work done. She gives her dad a lot of credit for whipping her game into shape.
Yeah, for everything, really. I mean, she's really attributed her conditioning program, her weightlifting, her mind for the game to her father.
I was real impressed with both Lawson and McDivitt and the way they talked about Kelly Jolly and how mentally tough she was and how she got the most out of her game, and were really aware of what they were walking into and the role that they had to try and fill next season for Tennessee.
You know, I just was impressed with how mentally they're in tune with what goes on. I mean, they've both read the books. They both have seen the documentaries. They're very familiar with historically how good Tennessee basketball has been. But how about the pin inside? A little pitch in there by Nina Smith. Good shape up to the basketball.
Well, they have lost 2 interior players, this white team. And Nina Smith has gotten a lot more minutes out there, and she has done a good job of getting up and down the floor.
With a lack of size on the inside in this game, it just once again proves a point about it being a guard's game.
These young women are going to be a lot of fun to watch over the next several years on the collegiate level. Sky LaRue, tough spin move, baseline J is good.
That's what I like to see in a 6'3" body. Little spin dribble.
Well, just another weapon ACC coaches will have to try and defend.
Well, I don't know about you, but if I'm a coach in the ACC or the Big 12 and the SEC, I'm a little nervous. I guess I'm always nervous about some of the talent that comes in, but particularly the ACC this year, which could be the most balanced it's ever been.
Shaken loose by the white squad. The red will have it when we come back. They ought to think about maybe getting it to Sky LaRue again.
In the Charlestown Register tomorrow, they won't say the team missed the winning shot. They won't say the team made the winning shot. Just hope they spell your name right.
Winning teams know how to put together just the right combination of players. That's what makes the great teams great. It's a concept that's also key to our physical fitness program at the Phoenix. Our physical fitness program teams up the right combination of insurance and investment to put together a financial strategy for the game of life, now and in the future. Phoenix, insurance and investments.
When I come home from work, I just want to play with Sam, not be a disciplinarian. But he's got this security blanket, and I know it's time he gives it up. He drags it everywhere. By the end of the day, I cringe when I think about what's crawling on it. Ew.
Finally, there's a detergent that does more than clean. It sanitizes. New Tide with bleach, the only way to kill 99.9% of bacteria.
As long as he gets rid of it before he goes to the prom.
The white team leading the red 86-62, and ESPN thinks there's extra special people in Nebraska, too. That must be Stephanie Jones's family. Reminder, too, coming up on ESPN on Tuesday, Ron Franklin and Dick Vitale will have the call for you. Magic's Round Ball Classic from the Palace in Auburn Hills, Michigan. The top high school talent in the land will convene at the Palace Tuesday at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific on ESPN. 7:21 to play here, and the white team defending Kenitra Johnson, who's headed to Connecticut, will inbound it. And a lot of these players, we talked a little bit, Debbie, about how aware they are of not only their game, but what they're headed into. What's the biggest adjustment, do you think, that they're going to have to be making as they move on to the collegiate level?
Well, besides the whole time management thing of balancing the academics and the athletic thing, I think the most important thing is the speed and strength at which the game is played at today. I mean, most clubs play the 94-foot game. They play full court pressure defensively. The ability for 6'2" and above to run the floor. You know, but most importantly, the speed and strength with which the game is played at today. It's much different than 10 years ago.
And from what we've seen thus far this afternoon, the speed and the strength are around. Ford rips one away. And now Coretta Brown.
We've seen some great guards in this game, too. I mean, you've got to have guard play to be a contender. And the teams that we've talked about already that you and I have put in our preseason top 10 all have good guards. You bring that 6'3" body like a Skylar Rue to the University of Virginia, has the versatility to play on the outside. Just gives coaches, you know, a lot more fun over there on the sidelines, I think, because you can mix it up and do lots of different things. Makes the game more exciting to watch because the product is good.
That's right. Brown, Gwen Jackson works the baseline and draws the foul on Nina Smith.
They'll be counting on Gwen Jackson to be all over the glass next year. You got Michelle Snow, who played in this game last year, ended up starting at center when Teresa Jeter went down with a knee injury and was hurt.
Boy, from a couple of years ago when they were hurting on the inside, Coach Summit has stockpiled the talent for next year.
You know, it's interesting. Tennessee has always been about rebounding and defense, and they still are, but you know, now they're able to extend and stretch and do more things because they bring in athletes like a Gwen Jackson and a Tashika Morris.
7 and 7 for Jackson. Of course, Snow and Shalon Pillow and Teresa Jeter are all there. Tamika Catchings, of course. Catchings, Samika Randall, and Shamika Holsclaw, all Kodak All-Americas this year. 3 from one team. First time that's happened.
And deservingly so. And nothing is given to those kids. They've earned it all.
Coretta Brown, who scored over 2,200 points in her career at Southeast Bullock High School in Georgia. And Jackson off the mark, working inside. LaRue's fadeaway won't go, and Thomas clears the rebound. This is McDivitt. Now up to Mari Horton. Three-pointer, no good. Very smooth, though, on that left-handed jumper.
She's going to fit in very well at Rutgers. C. Vivian Stringer has done a wonderful job at Rutgers. particularly this season when they, made it to the Elite Eight and lost to Purdue in the Midwest Regional. Have almost everybody back.
In fact, they have lost now to the last 2 national champions in the NCAA tournament. They lost to Tennessee 2 years ago.
That kind of experience is invaluable.
Ratai, again, using the screen for the jumper.
I have a feeling Ratai is going to be that designated shooter for Notre Dame next year.
How about Sheila McMillan sliding out and Ratai sliding right in behind her?
Not bad, huh?
Yep.
Pretty good recruiting by Muffet McGraw at Notre Dame.
Well, if Neil Ivey comes back from the knee injury and Danielle Green comes back for another year of eligibility, they will be very solid on the perimeter, one of the top units in the country.
And then Ruth Riley, who had a terrific season, one of the leaders in field goal percentage from the floor. Gives you a lot of offensive weapons.
Jamie Carey tries to no-look lob. Walton all over it.
That's great backside defense by Walton. Just reading the passer's eyes the whole time.
Ratai, three-pointer. No good. Battle for the rebound. A new red team has come on, including Jamie Carey, who we mentioned is headed to Stanford. She is the valedictorian of her class, already has worked on her speech, and she's going to deliver to her classmates.
Something to do with gates opening and shutting. That's all I got about. I didn't know what she was talking about.
You and I were nowhere near valedictory or salutatorian levels.
But she always dreamed about playing at Stanford. Calls Jennifer Azzi her role model, although she's never met her. I said, well, now, hey, Jamie, just pick up the phone and call her now. You're part of the Stanford family.
That's
you can
right.
do that.
And falling out of bounds, Murray Horton able to call the timeout. 88-70 for the white team. Stephanie Jones working on the glass for the red squad with the lay-in.
Well, what'll it be, sweetheart?
Let me guess. A nice cold Pepsi. I wouldn't want to hear one of those crazy voices of yours, huh?
Honey, you ain't heard nothing yet. Hit it, fellas.
It's a termite stampede.
Fear not, my wood friends. There's a new sheriff in town.
The Orkin Man.
Yeah! It's roundup time.
Got termites? Call Orkin for a free inspection and guaranteed protection.
Anytime you're with your kids is a good time to talk about drugs. Don't miss the opportunity. Whether you're at the dinner table or just riding in the car, start today. Talk, listen, stay involved.
Welcome back to Hartford. Under 3 minutes to play. The white leading the red in the 1999 Phoenix WBCA High School All-America game. Jamie Carey, three-pointer off the mark, rebound, Ratai. Walton, 3-on-1. Jennifer Thomas for the finish. Well, the white team now just beating the red down the floor here in the waning moments.
Just a fatigue factor right now. What a long week. These players have really worked hard all weekend.
Kazmarski, fadeaway won't go. Takesha Morris has it stripped by McDivitt, who was standing on the end line.
54 initiative. Time out, ladies. Smith back in for the white team. Now we have an official timeout. And it's a 1999 Phoenix WBCA High School All-America game. We'd like to thank our friends of the game.
The 1999 Phoenix WBCA High School All-America game has been brought to you by Phoenix Insurance and Investments, by Nike, and by the the Women's Basketball Coaches Association. Welcome back to the Hartford Civic Center for the second year in a row, home to the 1999 Phoenix WBCA High School All-America game. 6,300 people in attendance for today's game, another terrific turnout. And the World Figure Skating Championships are tonight on ABC at 8 o'clock Eastern and Pacific, presented by MasterCard. The best in the world tonight on ABC. 94-72, the white leading the red, and it's been a terrific performance thus far for Courtney Walton with 18 points, and Kara Lawson with 17 for the white team. And they are leading the way. Nicole Kazmarski has 15 and Stephanie Jones 13 for the red squad. Here is Kazmarski.
Little switch on the screen again. This time McDivitt fights over the top.
Tashika Morris off glass for 2.
You know, some people play looking at the scoreboard. I got a feeling that April McDivitt just plays hard, regardless of how much time or what the score is.
Check by Carey out top. Oh, they're also going to have to adjust to the hand checking call.
That's right.
The collegiate game as well. There's a little more bumping going on today.
Well, I thought the officials have done a good job. Like, that's a travel right there. They let go. You can't call everything in an all-star game.
Kazmarski on the run. She's got 17.
How about the creativity to even think about making that kind of move in traffic? April McDivitt showing us the whole deal today.
Well, the players love these kind of games, playing with their peers, the best in the country. They get to try things they haven't been able to do all season long.
Hey, you got coaches over there, but you know, the coaches are just worried about minutes, making sure everybody gets a chance to play, it's fair. You know, the coaches enjoy this kind of environment as well. Selection committee did a terrific job putting this group of 20 together.
And you know, Rosati's over there thinking, I'm 2-0 now against Cooper. And Cooper's like, man, I'm 0-2 against Rosati. This is the second year that they've been involved in this event as well. And Kenitra Johnson hits for 3 and a 20-second timeout taken by the red team.
Kenitra Johnson with the big smile knocks down the tray. I've been really impressed with her today as well. I mean, her defense has been superb, particularly in an all-star game. Plays hard between the lines and a great personality as well.
It's been interesting to watch over the course of the 8 years that the WBCA has been putting on this tournament. Each group seems to have a little different personality than the group before. Last year was a very boisterous and vocal group. This year's 20 players, a little more sedate, a little more laid back.
No, I concur with last year's group. Loud and a little bit obnoxious, maybe.
The leading scorers for the red team, Kazmarski 17. And Thomas leading the way. Jennifer Thomas for the white squad with 20. They divot in and out. Kazmarski with the rebound. And a foul on the shot. Stephanie Jones will head to the free throw line.
That's her tip.
47 seconds to go. And Thomas returns.
Stephanie Jones, an example of a player that has the strength and savvy to help right away in Nebraska. You know, I think all these players have an opportunity to definitely make an impact at their place right away. Even if it's just raising the level of competition in practice, most of these kids are going to get to play, though. Their coaches have big plans for them at the next level.
Kara Lawson connects for 3.
The mental toughness Now the backcourt of McDivitt and Lawson. We're going to be talking a lot about them in the next 4 years.
Jones tries to dump it down low.
That's just great D in there by Thomas.
Well, Tennessee, the only school that has had a player in each of these WBCA high school All-America games. And they have the most with 14 over the last 8 years. Connecticut and Stanford are next with 11 apiece.
You can kind of see the trend with Final Fours and NCAA tournaments. With that being the case, it's all about the product, which is the athlete, which is good.
Lawson wanted that one to go, couldn't get it to drop. Kazmarski to Kenitra Johnson for the lay-in. It's been an entertaining afternoon in Hartford. A look at the top 20 seniors in the country. And appropriately enough, the White will finish it up with a three-pointer from Sabrina Scott. Let's see if the Red can respond. Ford off the mark. Well, the future of the women's game is in good hands with these 20 young ladies leading the way. 182, the final, the White beating the Red.
Again, we talked about the future, the product, the athleticism, the skill. It's all getting better, which makes the college game and the professional game more attractive, because you have talented people that have paid their dues and worked hard to get their game to this level where they can compete in a game and an opportunity like this.
20 points for Jennifer Thomas, 20 points for Kara Lawson to lead the way. Courtney Walton, another sensational performance.